My name's Earl. Today I'm gonna be talking about Merchant of Venice, a play by Shakespeare. So the play starts with a man called Bassanio, a young Venetian, and is noble, kind of noble. He wishes to woo or kind of amaze a beautiful and wealthy person of which is Portia. She's kind of like a daughter of the Duke or something. Ha- he needs 3,000 ducats, and Bassanio approaches his friend Antonio, a very wealthy merchant, but he previous and Antonio agrees to it, but he doesn't have money because the point is that he put all his money into trading ships, and they go to Shylock. Uh, he is a very he's a Jew, and they're all Christian. The Jew doesn't like them both, and during the story, Charlotte becomes more important. So, and Charlotte doesn't like Christians because her daughter eloped with the Christian, who is called Lorenzo, and they stole a lot of money. And during the time, he lends the money, but in the contract, if you don't pay it back within the amount of time, he has to take a pound of Antonio's flesh because he doesn't like Antonio. While Portia has a kind of will. His father has already died, but he has a kind of challenge. There is three chests: a golden chest, a silver chest, and something chest. So thing is that these caskets, a lead casket also, and a lot of people like Indians and stuff choose the wrong one, while Bassanio choose the lead. At Venice, Antonio's ships are actually reported lost at sea, so Antonio can't repay the contract. Shylock has been more determined to exact revenge from Christians because his daughter Jessica eloped with the Christian Lorenzo and converted. She took a substantial amount of Shylock's wealth with her, like, yeah, you see, as well as turquoise ring, which Shylock had been given by his late wife. Shylock has Antonio brought before court. Portia acts as a man because as a lawyer, and she proves the point that if Shylock takes a pound of flesh, he will be executed because he didn't say it in the bond. So eventually Shylock's money is all taken away. But Antonio gives him a deal. He would give all the money back from his part because 50% of his money is going to the government. Shylock's money goes to the government and Antonio. And Antonio will get 50% of his money back if he turns Christian, and to give kind of a will to Lorenzo and her daughter. Eventually, Shylock agrees, and that is the end of the story. This story is very unique in a lot of ways. There's a lot of perspective in the story. It's really hard to tell by which one's which because Lorenzo, there's a lot of characters that aren't important to the story, which makes a lot of people confused by this. And this story is okay. It's not the best out of all of them, but it can definitely use some work. Portia's Portia's friend is Nerissa and is a kind of servant also. And during the time, uh, Antonio got his money back, a lot of money back from the ships, which is kind of a good ending. Now, the problem here is that a lot of people argue as Shylock as an antagonist or as a sympathetic character. Because Shylock, once you think about it, once it was in the 16,000, Christians don't like Jews, obviously. And today, well, it's obvious. And it's very racial. deserve. Like, it depends a lot because William Shakespeare didn't really focus. He didn't really care about racial stuff and more. It's really a weird subject, but I think Shylock would have had a better life if he wasn't represented so badly or perspective so badly. Shakespeare's stories are always basically produced on something. Like Macbeth, it was kind of copied, except it was copied, yeah. And a lot of his Shakespeare plays are copied, but this one is actually not that bad because it's very important, and Shylock is the kind of person who motivated Hitler to kill the Jews, and it's a kind of important story once you think about it. Bassanio wants to wow a person, but Bassanio isn't the greatest character, even though he is kind of the main character. He kind of wants her daughter, the Portia, because he wants a lot of money. Secondly, Antonio is presumed as the savior, the kind of heart-deadly person. But once you think about it, he might be racially motivated, and during the time, William Shakespeare doesn't think a lot about that, so yeah. And then there's the part where they kind of talk about. Then there's the part where Shylock is kind of the good guy, but I don't think that is because a pound of flesh is kind of disgusting. This was a pretty good story. I'd rate it a play or book. I'd rate it about an 8 out of 10. I mean, I understand why it's very recommended, but it's very confusing for me sometimes. The themes are very weird. And Antonio has depression in the story for some reason. I hope you enjoy your day, and this is my last day at this Mr. Hall School. Thank you.